following our clubs in Europe on a Scottish Football Zone special.
There we go. We're on the early shift tonight, Ethan. Looking forward to the games in the Europa League tonight. Celtic against Utrecht at Parkhead. Kickoff for that one is 8 o'clock, and also the kickoff time between Porto and Rangers is 8 o'clock kickoffs as well. So joined by Ethan tonight, and we'll be joined soon by Alex as well, building up to the game at Parkhead and Porto. First of all, Ethan, no signings yet for Celtic.
Yeah, not really surprising at this stage, but obviously I think they'll be expected to get at least one more winger and probably another central defender in before the window shuts on Tuesday night, I believe it is. So yeah, they'll need to get more bodies in. I think you've seen in the last few games, and I think Martin O'Neill possibly touched on at his pre-match press conference for this game against Utrecht that they were struggling the last couple of games, especially having to play with the 10 men on both occasions. So yeah, they need bodies in the door. Obviously, even if they had got some in the door, they wouldn't be able to help them tonight in the Europa League, as we've seen that the two games in the European competitions beyond Christmas, you can't have your January signings play in, which is obviously not too helpful for Celtic, but they've only brought in 2 players and they've got players, I think, to replace in the areas. I think Thomas Chiavanchara looked okay at the weekend against Hearts. Obviously had a big part to play in the second goal. He won't be available tonight, as well not Julian Araujo, and I think it'll probably be a similar Celtic team to the one that played in Bologna last week, obviously barring the fact that Rio Hattati picked up that red card, so he'll be suspended. And I imagine it'll be Benjamin Nygren who comes into the starting 11 just for that goal for it, because I think Celtic ultimately they don't need to win tonight. A draw may be enough. I think at 69% chance that the football meets data gives them of going through if they get a draw. But you've seen the drama last night in the Champions League. You don't want to fall on the wrong side of a late goal or something in another game. So yeah, a win would secure Celtic through to that playoff round, and that's what they should be doing tonight. Utrecht have been a poor side this season in Europa League. Have struggled. They're already out of the competition, although I have seen videos. They've took a big travelling support. I've seen them marching throughout Glasgow, and yeah, they've been struggling domestically as well. They sit outside of all the European places in 11th in the Eredivisie, 7 points behind 8th, which is, I think it's 8th to 5th, play a bit of a playoff in the Dutch league to decide who gets the Conference League spots. So they're even miles away from that. So yeah, they're really struggling. Lost their last 5 games, only won one of their last, what would that be, 10? Yeah, 11, 12. Only won one of the last 12, and that was against, I believe, a second division team in the Cup. So they're a struggling team, and Celtic should be able to take advantage of that and beat them pretty easily. Although, as we know, Celtic have had their own struggles this season, and there'll be massive pressure, and I think a bit of a nervous edge at Celtic Park, like there was for the game in the Champions League last season against Young Boys. But I expect Celtic to have too much for the visiting Dutch side.
Obviously, we'll go on to talk about Porto and Rangers in a wee bit when Alex comes on. But I mean, it's a weird build up to the game, because even though if Celtic wins, they're guaranteed qualification kick to the next round and all that. But it's been a weird build up to this game, because okay, they got points last week against Hearts. Blew last week in Bologna, got a man sent off there, got a man sent off on Sunday. Still no players coming in. Fans aren't happy with the board. But underneath of that, Celtic's got a chance of qualifying for the next stage. So it's really like a weird kind of build up to this game.
Yeah, and it certainly is, because despite Celtic probably being in, well, certainly their worst season since they last failed to win the Scottish Premiership in that COVID season, where obviously Rangers went invincible and stopped Celtic from winning the 10 in a row. I don't think Celtic have been anywhere near as bad as that since then. But maybe in Europe, it's I wouldn't say the best they've been, because they were pretty solid last season and only went out on narrow margin to a really good Bayern Munich team in the Champions League. But I think under Martin O'Neill, it feels like there's a real sort of togetherness in European football, and a real confidence that they can sort of turn over some big teams in this competition. I think the 3 games Martin O'Neill played, obviously the first one was against Michelin, which they were beat pretty comfortably over there in Denmark 3-0, but the wins over Feyenoord and a really decent point, playing over an hour with 10 men in Bologna, are not results to be sniffed at. And I think if Celtic were to go through tonight, they would fancy their chances against a lot of teams in that playoff round. I think I've got the chances of Celtic going through and whatever, and results that need to go their way, so we can maybe touch on that if we have time later. But realistically, I don't think Celtic, even if they win tonight, would finish anywhere above 20th place, which means they're going to have a home tie first in the next round, which people say, what's the advantage having the home tie first or second? I usually prefer it to come second. You go away from home, realise what you need to do, come back to Celtic Park in this scenario and get the job done. But Celtic will play at home, so they'll need to take an advantage, that you would think, to wherever they play. But this is all talking quite ahead of us. Celtic still need to win tonight, and I do expect them to. But I feel like there could be a few twists in the tail, especially when, as we mentioned last week, I think former Celtic flop goalkeeper Vasilis Barkas will be in between the sticks with the visitors.
How many times have we said it in the show, even like even on a Friday show as well, when we're previewing the weekend, how many times does an ex-player come back to haunt you? And I'm not saying that could be the case tonight, but you never know.
Yeah, usually these kind of things are written in the stars, it seems, when this kind of thing happens, and I think that may be the case. I certainly don't think he'll be as bad as he was when he played for Celtic, because I think he's probably one of the worst goalkeepers we've ever seen in the Scottish Premiership, not just play for Celtic. I don't know why it happened that way. He was obviously a really good goalkeeper previously at AEK Athens in his homeland, and from what I've heard and seen over the recent years, he's been pretty solid for Utrecht. But yeah, it just didn't work out for him in Glasgow, and the Celtic fans will be hoping that's the same story tonight.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I don't know if you want to go through the permutations now, that what could happen if Celtic either wins or draws or whatever.
Let me just get them up on my phone. Okay, so as I said, 100% chance Celtic will go through to the playoff rounds if they win. If they draw, it's apparently a 69% chance. I don't really know how that's calculated, but there is 5 teams below Celtic. 5 teams below Celtic that can overtake them. Starting with Celtic are obviously 24th for now, the last spot of the playoff qualifiers. Going all the way down to 30th place, Go Ahead Eagles. This is quite ridiculous. They would have to win by a 4 or 5 goal margin. This is obviously if Celtic draw. They would have to win by a 4 or 5 goal margin against Braga. 29th place, FCSB would have to win by a 3 or 4 goal margin over Fenerbahce. So I think you can probably write those 2 ones off, most likely. The ones that are a little bit more realistic but are still going to be difficult for these teams. 28th is Salzburg. They have to win at Villa Park against Aston Villa, which is not going to be a very easy task for them, especially when Aston Villa still want to probably win to secure the top 2 seeding, which gives you an advantage all the way until I think it gives you a home tie second in both the last 16 and the quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure on that. Next up is the 27th place Basel, who need to win at home to 17th place Victoria Pilsen, who obviously played Rangers early or in the Champions League qualifying. They've got nothing really to play for, Victoria Pilsen. They're in the playoff spots, but they're secure. They're not going to fall out of that, and they're also probably too far away to get top 8. So that could be one that Celtic need to watch out for. 26th place is Feyenoord, which Celtic obviously beat a couple of fixtures ago. They need to win at Real Betis and Seville, who are looking for a win for top 8. So that'll be a difficult one for the Dutch side. And then all of those teams I mentioned are on 6 points, so 2 points less than Celtic. 3 less if Celtic were to get a draw before any of the games are played. And then the team immediately below Celtic, obviously helped by the City Rifles Rangers last week. The fact Rangers beat Ludogorets, they are 25th. They are on 7 points, the only team on 7 points. And if they win at home to already eliminated Nice, then they would overtake Celtic. Although Ludogorets aren't on the best of form, Nice are on maybe a little bit of an upturn. As many teams Celtic could overtake. 23rd place Young Boys, if they were to lose by 1 or 2 goals at Stuttgart, who have an outside chance at the top 8. 22nd place Brann, again, we're getting into the ridiculous realms here. Lose by 3 or 4 goals at already eliminated Sturm Graz. For 21st place Lille, they would have to lose by 6, 7 or 8 goals at home to top 2 chasing Freiburg. And Celtic would overtake all 3 of those teams above them, directly above them, if they were to win and they were to draw or lose. Celtic could overtake 20th place Dinamo Zagreb with a win. If the Croatians lose, at top 2 hopefuls FC Midtjylland, who Celtic also obviously played earlier in the campaign. For Celtic to finish above 20th, I'm not even going to touch on it. It would need to be ridiculous things to happen. So I expect Celtic to finish 20th with a win. That's just my prediction on the results. And then I expect Celtic to maybe just squeeze into 24th place with a draw, but that is relying on results to go the way that the favourites sort of see them going. And I'm sure there was loads of people putting accumulators on last night, 18-match accumulators, and I'm sure there'll be some people doing that tonight. I certainly won't be one of them, but you don't want to be relying on results elsewhere to go your way. You want to just get the win. I think that's what the message Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney and the rest of the coaching staff will put across to their players tonight.
Yeah, that's our core information. Don't worry, Ethan, I won't ask you to repeat it or at the end of the show. Or maybe I will ask you to repeat it another twice before the end of the show.
I'll just
Alex misses it.
Yeah, well, I'll just tell you that I did go through a lot of ridiculous ones there, so I can keep it probably a little bit more narrow and to the ones that are really going to make a difference. The 3 and 4 goal margins, that's not really good. You can't expect that to happen. Obviously, it could, but yeah, I think Celtic should just focus on winning. That eliminates any of this if they just go and win, which they should do. They're against a poor opposition at home. There's no excuse for Celtic, and they can't have any aspirations of going far in European football if they don't get 3 points tonight.
There we go. There's Alex coming on. I was going to say that point a week at Bologna last week kind of helped Celtic because I don't think we would be. I think we would be talking about a different game tonight. Ethan, am I right? And about if Celtic win the game, Celtic would have been out because am I right in thinking that they needed 4 points?
No, I think they would. They would have just had to win tonight, but obviously it gives them the sort of fallback that if they get a point tonight, then they could go through. 69% chance, as I said, that Football Meets Data page gives them. But again, you don't want to be falling back on that. Celtic should look to get 3 points tonight, and that will be enough to secure them a place in the playoff round with a home leg first of all.
Alex, Rangers are out, but they've got a big game against Porto. Even though that they're out, I would imagine that you and the rest of the Rangers fans would want to see them getting a good performance or a win or even a point over there because it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, no, definitely. You still want to win every game, even if it is dead rubber. It will be difficult. I think I mentioned last time I was on. I don't know if it's changed since then. I might need to double check. But at the time, I think it was last week, Porto had only conceded 4 league goals in the Liga Portugal this season.
I think they kept a clean sheet. Sorry, Alex. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. Double check it. But I'm pretty sure they kept a clean sheet in the league at the weekend. I might be wrong, but
yeah, they did.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, they did. They've played 19, won 18, drawn 1, scored 40, and conceded 4. So it's not an ideal game to be going into, going up against a team like that. But Rangers have pulled miracles out the bag before. Obviously, this isn't the same team even last year, but I'm always optimistic on European nights with Rangers, even though it's gone so badly this season. I'm always optimistic, and I'm looking forward to what will be an exciting game, I think, because it's also an opportunity for the players to play with the shackles off. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain, but just show what they can do, and maybe an opportunity for some players to keep themselves in the manager's contention. I'd imagine there will be some opportunities for players maybe we've not seen so much this season, because obviously the priority is Hibs on Sunday. The priority is the league now and the Scottish Cup for Rangers. So I'm looking forward to it though. I mean, I've got some good memories of Rangers playing Porto. I mean, I was at Ibrox when Rangers beat them 2-0 ages ago now. Feels like yesterday. And they got a 2-2 draw in Porto at that time as well. So good memories of that, and I'm hoping they can build on it.
Yeah, because I mean winning kind of bleeds confidence in the camp of Danny Rowe.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's what Rangers are want to do. A very difficult task, as Alex has presented the stats from Porto's league season. Very strong. They don't give a lot away, and I think it's going to be a really difficult task, whatever team Danny Rowe was to field tonight. But we spoke about it last week, there was opportunity for Ruby Rangers to hold on to that top spot in the club coefficient for league winners outside of the sort of automatically qualifying European leagues. That's obviously gone now. Olympiacos winning last night, but it maybe begs the question: what team will Danny Rowe field tonight? I feel like he would be. Maybe he will go for a full strength team, but I feel like he would be pretty naive to. I think he's got to rotate the team and prioritise Sunday, because ultimately there's a Scottish Premiership and a Scottish Cup for Rangers to win, and if there were any players to get injured tonight, it could be a major setback in Rangers' season.
It could also be an opportunity. Oh, sorry, Michael. I was just going to say it could be an opportunity to put more players though in the shop window. I mean, I know Danny Rose, he said first team players are not for sale this season, but maybe if they're thinking towards the summer, because it's been a mental couple of days in terms of transfer rumours around Rangers, especially on the outgoings front. I mean, a loan with an obligation to buy for £10 million was rejected from Monaco for Diego Gassama. Obviously, there was a rumour about Fenerbahce bidding £13 million for Yusuf Chermiti. I'm not sure if that's been proven to be false or not. I've not seen anything concrete on that. So, although I would take that with a pinch of salt. And also, there's been reported interest in Emmanuel Fernandez from Bayer Leverkusen and Borussia Dortmund. So, it could be an opportunity for some players to put themselves in the shop window of European clubs. I mean, I haven't been able to believe my eyes at some of the transfer rumours around Rangers in the January window. I saw probably a completely unverified source, but I've seen it on a couple of different locations. But obviously, Joe Rothwell's on his way out the club, it looks like. I saw the reported fee was around $6 million. This has been absolutely mental. I doubt that is true, but I did see that on a couple of different things on X. So take that with a pinch of salt. But it's been a crazy transfer window for Rangers so far, and it might be an opportunity to trump up the value of some players.
But I think I get the point you're making, and you are. I probably recognise you are playing devil's advocate a little bit, but I think you've got to prioritise the here and now and wrapping your key players in cotton wool. I think that's got to be the approach that Danny Rule takes. And some of the rumours have been absolutely crazy. You're correct. I think the Yusuf Chamiti one was maybe rubbished from sources in Turkey, but some of the other ones have been absolutely mental. And yeah, that's what we spoke about last week. It's the opportunity for these players to rise on a big occasion against a really top European side, doing really well, obviously leading the Portuguese league. So yeah, that's exactly the opportunity these Rangers players have, apart from obviously representing the club. But I do think he'll rotate quite a lot of the starting team, because I think it would be naive not to.
Do you know what? Sorry, I just wanted to say, we were talking about mental transfer rumours there. I want to go back to a point I made earlier in the chat when we were talking about Hellas Verona potentially signing Kieran Bowie for $6 million, and we couldn't believe it. But I made a point in the chat that I think we should be demanding these fees for players from our division, because I feel like with the way the inflated market has gone, we've been left behind as a league. Some leagues of I would go so far to say of similar quality, maybe a little bit better, but like the Eredivisie, the League of Portugal, the the Belgian Pro League, sell talent on for massive amounts of money that we could never dream of. I feel like a lot of the clubs in Scotland should take a page out of Hib's book and demand high fees for players, because if we can set a precedent with that, I think clubs will just start paying it. Because I think we can all, he's good, but I think we can all agree we wouldn't have rated Kieran Bowie as a £6 million player.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what you're saying, Alex. I do. And I think maybe sort of something that goes against the Scottish clubs in that way of demanded fees is that this season specifically, and obviously most seasons gone by, certainly, barring maybe last season, that these countries that you mentioned have got some of their teams competing in the Champions League and doing well in the Champions League, where Scotland haven't had that on a consistent basis for a very, very long time. And you look at Portugal, they've got Sporting Lisbon in the top 8, or Sporting CP rather, in the top 8 of the Champions League. Benfica, of course, with the Trubins heroics into the playoff round. And then Belgium, Club Brugge qualify in the playoff round. And the other country you mentioned was the Netherlands. PSV, I believe, qualified through the playoff round. And apart from PSV, those teams I mentioned aren't even leading their league. So I see your point. I don't think that they're missions away from Scotland in terms of quality, but I think we've got to really compete on a European stage, and we need to boost the coefficient. I think all the teams have been responsible for underperforming it this. I think a lot of the teams done a decent performance in the qualifiers, but I think Rangers and Celtic especially have underperformed in Europe massively this season, and it's been maybe a detriment to the coefficient which is already on the downward slope.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that, Ethan. Just to say there, PSV didn't actually qualify. No, but no, I would agree. I think, like I said, I don't think we're on the same level as these leagues, but like you said, I don't think we are far off. But I would totally agree. We do need to compete more within sort of European football. I mean, it was pretty good last season to go to see where we've gone from. Rangers made it to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Celtic took Bayern Munich to the last seconds of the game. To see how far we've fallen since that point is quite upsetting, actually, as a Scottish football fan. But no, I would totally agree with that. But how the thing is, though, the past few years, I think Rangers and Celtic, to an extent, have been somewhat competing in Europe, and we've been getting these sort of, low ball offers. And I'm not saying that, we should be in the same realms of like Darwin Núñez and Victor Gyökeres, obviously going for upwards of 80, 100 million or whatever. I just think, in today's market, 20 million is not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. It's not a lot of money to a lot of clubs. It is for us in Scotland, but it's not a lot of money to a lot of clubs. And I think, we just accept too low offers from other nations trying to poach our talent because of the financial situation we're in.
Yeah, I agree, and I think somebody made the point in the comments there about, do you think that agents are the ones who start some of these rumours? Of course they are. They certainly are behind some of the rumours, and that's sometimes an agent's job. I think it was Sebastian Tenetke apparently was subject to an 8-figure bid also, which was turned down. And I think, of course, you've got to sort of, if you've signed a player and 6 months later clubs are bidding big value for them, and you would make a lot of money on them, twice the value on Tenetke probably for Celtic, maybe 5 times the value for Rangers on Gassama, slightly more on Chermiti, then you've got to weigh these things up. But if you're trying to grow the value of your playing squad as a whole, then taking cheap offers first time around isn't going to really help. And I think that's what we've seen from Hibs as well, and possibly Motherwell. I think there's no reason why, if Hibs are getting 6 million for Kieran Bowie, I don't know the contract situation. There's no reason why Motherwell can't demand close to that for Tawanda Maswanisi. I'm not saying.
Well, Maswanisi's got 6 months left, does he not? There is an option to.
I don't think he's got 6 months left. I think he's got more than that. But
no, it is at 6 months with an option to extend for a further year, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's fair enough. Then they're not going to get 6 million for him. But I seen they were wanting maybe 4 million, and why not? He's been the best. He's maybe arguably the best player in Scotland at the minute. On current form over the last few games, there's not on many players I think you could put on the same pedestal as him. So, yeah, why not demand a lot of money for your players? It improves the quality of the squads. They get more money, and it makes for a more even league like we've seen this season, and that's what we want. I want all the teams to be able to compete, and it would mean that they have better resources to go into European football, qualify, and really have a go at it.
Yeah, I mean, on that point, Alex, it's a good point that you've made. And in the group chat, I kind of thought, but I was busy doing other things. But I get the just because obviously they think the other countries are saying, well, it's only Scotland. We're not going to value their play very highly because they play in that league in the Premiership in Scotland, and it's only Celtic and Rangers that wins the league anyway. Maybe not this season. Maybe Hearts would win it, but I think that's what other countries kind of feel about Scottish football.
Yeah, no, as well that as well, but also I think historically, we've sort of failed to compete in Europe, like Ethan said. Stretching even further back than the last 5 or 6 years or so. It's been. I think that's one of the main reasons that that maybe we're looked down upon. But there are some success stories coming out of Scotland. I mean, Calvin Bassey is one of the most highly rated defenders in the Premier League. Obviously, he's not world-class level, but he's solid. Like, people look at Calvin Bassey and go, he's a good player. But there's also a lot of failures coming out of Scotland as well. Maybe that's why players who were really good in Scotland who've come to the Prem or somewhere else and really, really struggled. I mean, Joe Rebo, Nigerian teammate of Calvin Bassey, has had a really he's there's no other way to put it. His spell at Southampton's been a failure, and yeah, I think maybe that's part of it as well. But as long, but if we can, like I said, set this precedent of getting enough money in or more money, then I don't really care how they do when they leave.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think what we've seen this season, maybe more than any other, which gives promise for the future, is that we've got a lot of ambitious clubs in the Scottish Premiership that are willing to spend money and try and really, well, for the teams outside of Celtic and Rangers and Hearts, you would have to put in the conversation now to bridge the gap between them and really go for it. I would probably leave Celtic out of that, looking at an ambitious standpoint, but everyone else, your Motherwells, your Hibs, even Aberdeen, we've seen loads of clubs spend break their record transfer free in the summer gone by. I'm pretty sure, I just looked up there, I think Tawanda Waswinise might be until 2027 with an option.
All right, sorry, mate.
No, that's fine. Only a year and a half. It's not maybe as long as Kieran Bowie's contract, but even still, the point stands. We want our clubs to demand more for their players, and great deal for Hibs and great for Kieran Bowie to go out there and play in a solid league and maybe meet up with some of his compatriots as well.
Yeah, continuing the Scottish-Italian love affair that's become a thing over the past few years. Yeah, so although Josh Doig didn't do too well going to, I think, did he go to Verona first and now he's at Sassuolo? So,
I think so, yeah.
Hopefully Kieran Bowie does a little bit better than Josh Doig has done out in Italy. Although I think he is quite.
I think that's a bit unfair.
What, he's playing in the Serie B?
Yeah, for the team that's are they not absolutely romping the Serie B though?
Still though, Serie B not good enough.
Yeah, well, Celtic's latest winger link, however much you want to look into that, is a Serie B winger. So we'll
Celtic are getting linked with everyone at the moment. Feels like to be honest, it feels like a Rangers transfer windows of old, getting linked with everyone and not getting anyone.
Any more links, they would be linked to a butcher's shop. But I'm sorry for if you're watching this show outside Scotland and you go, "What's a butcher's shop?" Well, we've not got time to tell you.
I'm pretty sure they've got butchers elsewhere.
Yeah, well, maybe in Holland and Sweden.
Are they called links elsewhere though? Yeah.
No, probably not. No.
Yeah, no. We thought, and yeah, let's move on. So it's actually kind of like a kind of weird but good season for Rangers in terms of the game means nothing tonight, Alex. But I mean, if they keep on winning and outboost their confidence, especially going away to Porto and then going into Sunday's game against Hibs.
Yeah, no, confidence is everything at the moment, and if the team can win tonight, I feel like it could be massive for the season. That would be 9 wins on the bounce, with 2 European fixtures, and amongst that, an Old Firm in there as well. And then if they can go and maybe make it 10 on Sunday against Hibs, I feel like it would be massive. And the momentum is with Rangers right now, I think. And I don't think momentum can be underestimated. I think Celtic need to start building their momentum again after that draw at the weekend. A lot of the reaction I've seen from the support has been quite deflated. That they didn't manage to get the win against Hearts, especially on top of obviously they didn't get the result, but on top of the fact that the performance was really, really poor as well. And I've seen loads of people talking about how Daisen Maeda dropped one of the all-time worst Celtic performances that they've seen with their own eyes. And it showed all the good work Martin O'Neill's done since coming in and, building that momentum again. I feel like that's been taken out of it. Rangers are very confident. Rangers fans are very confident. You guys know I'm very confident right now. It's a good feeling around the club, and I think I said that a couple of weeks ago. I'm enjoying watching football again. I'm enjoying, tuning in for Rangers games. I'm actually quite excited about tonight's game, no matter what the result. I mean, if they get battered 5-0, you might not see me on the after show, but um, no, just kidding. But no, they are. I'm excited and I'm confident, and I feel like Rangers do have the momentum, and if they can maybe get a couple more additions in. There's been some rumours around Rangers bringing in another striker, developments, the Hansa Rostock striker, Ryan Donnelly. However, they're stalling at the moment. If that deal collapses, they'll go to Leeds' Joel Perreault, which I wouldn't be upset about at all. If Rangers can maybe get a couple more signings in, get a decent result tonight, beat Hibs on Sunday in the January window in good form, I'll be very, very happy, and the momentum will just keep building.
Yeah, I mean, Danny Rose said last night at his press conference, Alex, I don't know if you saw it, but he says we have a big challenge ahead of us, but we want to have a good game, meaning I think he means it's going to be a very difficult game, but we need to go out then and play with a game.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't see why these players wouldn't want to go out and play their game and play against a team like Porto with their history, obviously. Won the Champions League under Jose Mourinho and, viewed as one of, I guess, consistent European performers around Europe. It's a very, very good opportunity for these players. And if you can't get up for that kind of game going over to Portugal and potentially taking down Porto, I don't think you're in the right. I don't think you're in the right sport. You're in the right profession. So, it is really big. But Rangers should play their game. However, I couldn't pin down what Rangers' game is, to be totally honest. We've seen tactical versatility from Danny Rule. I think there's still issues in the attacking areas, trying to finish off chances and create in that final third that can become a bit bogged down and slow at times. That's probably the main improvement, but Rangers are solid at the back at the moment, and yeah, I'm excited to see what happens tonight. I think I've said that like 10 times or something, but I genuinely am. I'm excited for this game.
For Celtic, Ethan Martin said yesterday at the press conference, we're in a good position, but we need to win. Uklig is a good team, and we need to. It would be nice to get through as well. So that's what it said yesterday. But also, what it was asked by in every press conference that I watched since Martin O'Neill came back for the second time is any more signings coming in, and it wasn't giving too much away.
Yeah, I don't know if that's maybe because there isn't too much to be given away, which but yeah, I think the questions with questions like that are a wee bit, I don't know, they're always strange to me, because usually if especially Celtic or Rangers are going to sign a player, then we'll know about it pretty well in advance. So I think they're just maybe testing Martin O'Neill's resolve, and is he going to maybe start getting annoyed and angry that the signings aren't coming in? Because I think, like Wilfred Nancy previously said, and obviously Brendan Rodgers extremely before that they wanted signings in. And it's the same thing we hear that January's a difficult window to bring in players. So yeah, I think Celtic will bring in at least one other body. I don't know how many that'll be. I think, but yeah, they need players in if they want to really have a go on both a European front and a league front. I've seen a few people, Hearts and Rangers persuasive, saying they actually want Celtic to go through tonight because it would mean more games in the future, which is obviously a good point. We've seen Rangers do well in Europe but struggle to sort of strike that balance between being good in Europe and being good domestically in the past. So yeah, that's certainly something that could play into this Celtic squad as the season goes on if they were to get through tonight.
I do think Alex and fellow Rangers fans would like Celtic to win tonight, and the Hearts fans, because that means Celtic would be playing catch up on the Sunday.
I want Celtic to win because I've got them on my 18-team accumulator. Please gamble responsibly.
Oh, we were talking about that before you came on as well, Alex. We were saying that with some people last night and there'll be some people tonight, and I was saying that Celtic don't want to be like one of those people hoping for results to come in if they were to get a draw tonight. So yeah, I think Celtic need to win. I was going to ask you, Alex, is there any Rangers players that you want to see maybe get an opportunity tonight that maybe wouldn't usually if it was a game that meant something in the context of a league game or a game late in a cup or a usual European game that meant something for Rangers?
No, not really.
No? Okay.
No, I just
that was a short answer.
I just kind of want them to play the strongest squad and win. To be
really?
Honest. Yeah.
I think that's. I don't know. I just think that's a recipe for disaster, I think.
Why are you putting... None of these guys have got injured so far. Why are you putting like an emphasis on it?
Because why? What is the point in risking when you've got a league that is very contested between three teams? You aren't at the top. Hearts are obviously got the advantage at the minute. Why would you put any players at risk at starting the game?
For the coefficient.
But the coefficient's gone.
No, it's not. If Olympiacos don't win the Greek league, and if Shakhtar Donetsk don't make it to the semi-final of the Conference League, and Rangers win or draw tonight, and then they win the Scottish Premiership, they will automatically qualify for the Champions League next season.
Yes, but what I'm thinking is that Rangers should be confident. Right, okay, obviously this is funny saying this because Celtic failed in the qualifiers this year, but I think even if Rangers were to go
so did Rangers. Rangers get battered out the qualifiers.
Right, but Rangers get battered by a good solid European team. Rangers are going to be seeded like Celtic were, and they're going to play a team that they should be beating. I just think that the game on Sunday is a lot more important. Even looking at a one game.
The game on Sunday is more important, but I don't see why he can't play the best team tonight and the best team on Sunday.
Because he played his best team Sunday there against Dundee.
What? Yeah, so why can't he play best team?
It's an opportunity to rotate the squad.
Mm.
It's a game that means less than any other game Rangers are going to play this season. There is not going to be another game this season, Cup or League, that'll mean, unless Rangers wrap up the league early and they've got games to spare, there'll not be another game this season that means less to Rangers Football Club than this one.
That would be nice if Rangers wrapped up the league early.
No, I don't think that's going to be the case, but my point is, I just think that we should rotate out a lot of the players. I think that there's no risk. There's no reason taking a risk, but I don't know if he will. But yeah, I think he might. I think he will rotate the squad. I think there will be some players that come in that maybe you wouldn't expect to start. Maybe a Finlay Curtis will get a start. I know Rangers fans have been happy with his performances when he's chipped in recently, and I think my suspicion is that he's still going to go out on loan at the end of the transfer window. I think he will go to Kilmarnock. I think
I
Rangers.
think Rangers needed them for the homegrown quota.
Yes, yeah, I heard that, and obviously they don't have, they can't bring Scott Wilson into these European games yet. Well, not yet, but you know what I mean. You can't bring him in because he's in no signing. So yeah, I think he'll probably go out on loan, but I think he could have a part to play tonight. But it's going to be difficult for Rangers regardless of what team he fields, because they've been a really solid force this season, Porto, on a league and continental basis.
I mean, going back to Celtic, Ethan, like, see, when you look at the Champions League, is it no another embarrassing story for Celtic that Cara Almaty got bottom of that Champions League group, yet Celtic couldn't beat them?
Yeah, I think it is, but I think we probably knew that as soon as Kyra Almaty had went through. I don't think anyone was really expecting them to go and make noise in the competition. I think everybody recognised how poor a team they were when they played Celtic.
See Kyra Almaty though. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they only got like battered like once. Like every other game was like kind of close.
I think I remember Sporting and Real Madrid beating them quite easily, but apart from that, I think they were Club Brugge beat them 4-1.
Oh right, okay, never mind. Never mind.
4-1, 5-0 and 4-1. But it's not too bad. It's not the worst. But it obviously ran Arsenal pretty close. They're probably the favourites for both the English Premier League and the Champions League. They finished top. So yeah. But yeah, I think it is, Michael. I think it is embarrassing, but I think we knew at the time where Celtic could be if they had won that match over the two legs. You'll never know. Maybe they could have attracted better players. Maybe they could have competed in the Champions League, but if buts and maybes, we'll never know. And now Celtic need to win the league and work their way back into contention for that competition. But
at the Scottish football zone, we don't do if buts and maybes. We do absolutes.
Because good maybe. Yeah, as well. But I mean, so I'm going to ask you a question, Ethan, and I think you might laugh at this one. But like, so if Celtic qualifies, there's more money in the bank for Celtic. Do you think that they'll eventually go out and buy maybe 2 players?
Oh, 2. I think that's quite ambitious, Michael. I've got to say. I think they should. I think they should go out and buy 3 players. I think they need.
I don't think Celtic will buy anyone.
They will buy someone.
I don't think they'll buy anyone.
Oh, right, okay, they might loan someone. Yeah, right, okay.
I don't think Celtic are going to spend a penny.
Well, loaning still costs money.
You know what I mean?
Well,
don't be pedantic.
I'm not, but you said that you said not going to spend a penny.
Excuses for the board.
What is it?
Celtic won't spend any money on transfer fees that aren't.
That's better.
There we go. Celtic won't spend a penny on transfer fees by the end of this January window. I think they will maybe get one more loan in.
Right, okay.
You're happy?
Yeah, that's fair. I think what they need is a central defender, a winger, and a striker. But whether they get any of them, I'm not sure. I think they'll probably prioritise winger first, then central defender, then striker, because it seems like Celtic will only really work at one position at a time, even though they've had 6 months since the last window to really work on this. But yeah, I don't know. We go on about it all the time. We're talking about this to death now, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more on Tuesday as well. So yeah.
So what about the Celtic team? Do you think it'll kind of pick itself tonight, or?
I think it does. I think because of the resources. Sorry, Ethan. I was just going to say, would you bring Stephen Welsh in? I don't think he's in the squad. I don't think he can.
Oh yeah. Good point.
Maybe he can because he's a recalled loan player, but I doubt he would be able to be in it if the new signings can't. So I think it'll probably be Austin Trusty and Liam Scales. You know, they didn't have the greatest game at Tynecastle. Austin Trusty made some errors.
Who's gonna get sent off tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I think it could be. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to wish upon a
I
player.
think my Edel gets sent off.
He did get sent off in the last the game against Young Boys last season. Was it? Yeah, it was Young Boys. He got sent off, and then he got his suspension rescinded by a game, so he was able to play in both legs of the Bayern Munich game somehow. Don't really know how that worked, but hopefully Celtic don't get a red card tonight, or hopefully hopefully they don't, because they don't really have the squad to get into picking up too many suspensions. I think it'll be the same team or similar team that played in Bologna. Kasper Schmeichel in goals, who's had an improvement over the last 2 games, you could say, although that wouldn't have been difficult.
I'm here for the Casper revival. I've been hating on him all season, but I want to see the old man strap up the gloves again and put on a masterclass.
He shouldn't need to tonight. I think Celtic should be firmly in control of the match, but yeah, European games are never easy. And so,
Utrecht are a state. They've lost their last 5. Their managers had to come out and say he's refusing to resign. I mean, if you can't beat them, it's bad. And I'll be if every other leg of my bet comes up tonight and Celtic are the team that let me down, oh my god, I'll be absolutely fuming. Please gamble responsibly.
I think there is still a chance that Celtic can go through even if they lose, but I think it's in the single digits of percentages. So we're not even going to try and go through the stipulations if that was to happen.
Do you remember the stipulations last season for Rangers to get top 8 and the stars aligned? It was absolutely mental.
You missed the stipulations, Alex. I read them out before you were on.
Right, okay.
I'm not going to do it again. So if any of the viewers want to see it, or Alex wants to see it, it'll be earlier in the recording.
Probably go back to it.
Yeah, because it
was. I don't want to listen to you any more than I have to.
Okay, you don't have to then. You can just look at the league table and work it out yourself. That's always a way to do it. That's how I've done it. But yeah, I think Celtic, they need to win. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying, yeah, they need to win tonight, but I think it'll be a similar team. The midfield will probably be changed. Cal McGregor, Arne Engels and Benjamin Egren will probably play despite a really poor performance from that midfield, although who did perform well at Tynecastle. And then the front 3 will be Sebastian Tenet, Yang and Daizen Maeda, because Celtic haven't really got any other really players I think can come into that team, which probably shows the state of the squad and why they're 3rd place in the Scottish Premiership and why they are 3rd favourites to win the Scottish Premiership at the minute.
And also the size of the squad, Ethan, because a few seasons ago you were that, well, I don't know who's going to play, but because they're kind of like the numbers are declining, it's like, well, it's the same team that plays every week. And I think Martin and Neil also said yesterday the media conference that basically the players are shattered.
Yeah, he did. That's what he said. In other words, and off the back of playing the over an hour of football in 2 matches, a man down is not going to help that. But you see, he can't really afford to change the team too much. He did obviously wholesale changes against 6th division Auchinleck Talbot, and they did get the win in the end. But I don't think there's really any fixtures. Dundee at home next in the next game in the cup. That's not going to be one you can afford to really rotate too many players. Dundee have been on decent form as of late.
You Falkirk on Sunday.
Yeah, I know that. I was just saying. I was sorry, Mike. I was just saying the next game in the cup because sometimes in the cup games, like Rangers will have. Well, you would think Rangers will have the opportunity to rotate at home to Queen's Park, but maybe Danny Roll will lay under the mistakes of.
Not again. Not again.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, that game at Parkhead. I mean, I think the Celtic will put the fans through the mill again, because you would think it would be a straightforward win, but maybe it will be something like a wee narrow 1-0 or 2-1 win or something like that.
Yeah, I think it'll be a 1-0 win. That's my prediction. Celtic to win 1-0. a narrow win. But it'll do the job ultimately.
Yeah. Alex, what about you? Prediction time?
For Celtic, I'm going to go, I think I said 2-1 a couple of days ago. And for Rangers, I think I said a draw, but I'm changing it because we're close to the game. I'm confident. I'm gonna go 2-0 Rangers. Easy days.
Okay.
No, right. So what we've got here is a team that barely concedes any goals, and you said that Rangers in forward areas are struggling to really. It's not fully clicking in the attacking areas, and you think they're going to go over to Portugal and score twice. Maybe they will. Maybe they will, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not adding up.
No, do you know what? Do you know how they're going to do that? Though it's not going to be any like brilliant attack and play. It's going to be 2 corners. It's going to be a Manny Fernandez double, and then Borussia Dortmund are going to offer 60 million for him. We're going to say no, we want 80.
So if you get Rangers on your accumulator,
yeah. That's why the odds are so high. It's £1. It's £1 5 for a 400 grand return.
Okay.
Okay. If I win that, I'm retiring from this show. You won't see me on here again.
Are you moving house to Spain or something or that? Okay, so I will go 2-1 to Porto and 2-0 with Celtic. So that's my prediction.
I didn't get my prediction for the Porto Rangers game. I'll go with, I think I went 2-0 the other day.
Yeah, you did, but now you've changed your mind. Do you think Rangers are actually going to win 4-0?
No, I certainly don't. I think it'll be a comfortable win for Porto, but I think they'll keep Rangers out and they'll get a few goals themselves. So I'm going to go 2-0 to Porto. And if Danny Rowe is to play a full strength 11, it would have been worthless.
I need them to play a full strength 11 so I get my 400 grand.
That's the only reason that you're arguing that he should play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't bother again any other time just because you've got a bet on. I'm expecting a lot of pies for that. If you win the money, but strangest things could happen. Saying that, Celtic might buy a player, so that's a strangest thing as well. So there you go. That is the build-up to the game tonight. Celtic against Utrecht, 8 o'clock kickoff. Rangers and Porto at 8 o'clock as well. And we'll let Ethan go. He's away to Celtic Park now to watch the Celtic game.
Unlucky, mate. I'm saying unlucky, mate.
Yeah. And Alex will be
sorry, Michael, to jump over you. I'm just going to say unlucky to Alex because his bet is not going to come in.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
You'll have more chance of my horse coming in from the Grand National in 1985.
I'll tell you, there's more chance of Rangers qualifying for the Europa League playoff rounds this season.
There we go. That's
just not factually true though, because there are actually odds on my thing. Rangers don't.
Well, you never know. There could be a team eliminated or fielding ineligible players that crops up, and Rangers get extra points, and then they qualify after maybe getting a win tonight. So you never know.
So we'll be back at 10 o'clock to look back in the 90 minutes. If I'm here myself, Alex has just bought a house over in the Caribbean, Oil's Easter house. I don't know, it's up to you. But I will be back at 10 o'clock because I've got no money. So we'll see you soon here on the Scottish Football Zone.
following our clubs in Europe on a Scottish Football Zone special.
That's a cat.